The Ramsey house, a grand 15-room mansion decorated with holiday lights, was supposed to be filled with the lingering warmth of Christmas. The previous night had been spent unwrapping gifts, sharing laughter, and enjoying the magic of the season. But as dawn broke on December 26, 1996, the Ramsey family's world shattered forever. At 5:52 a.m., a frantic 911 call came through to the Boulder Police Department. "We have a kidnapping. Please hurry." The voice on the line belonged to Patsy Ramsey, JonBenét's mother. Her words were rushed, frantic. There was terror in her voice. JonBenét Ramsey, just 6 years old, had vanished from her bed in the middle of the night. A ransom note had been discovered at the foot of the staircase, a bizarre, rambling 3-page letter demanding $118,000 for her safe return. Police arrived at the scene within minutes, but what they found only deepened the mystery. There were no signs of forced entry. The house was still locked from the inside. The Ramsey family and some close friends were already gathered in the home, anxiously awaiting answers. Then the unthinkable happened. At 1:05 p.m., JonBenét's father, John Ramsey, made a horrifying discovery. In the basement, behind a rarely used door, lay his daughter's lifeless body. She was covered with a white blanket. Duct tape sealed her mouth. A nylon cord was tightly wrapped around her neck. Her wrists were bound. A crude garrote, a twisted cord tied to a broken paintbrush, had been used to strangle her. JonBenét Ramsey, the child beauty queen with the golden curls and dazzling smile, had been murdered in her own home. But who killed her? And why, nearly 3 decades later, is this case still unsolved? From the moment the police arrived, mistakes were made, critical mistakes that would later cripple the investigation. The Ramsey house was never properly secured. Friends, family, and even the Ramseys themselves moved freely through the house, contaminating evidence. The ransom note was touched and moved around, potentially smearing fingerprints. And the biggest mistake of all, when John Ramsey found his daughter's body, he picked her up and carried her upstairs, further compromising the crime scene. But the most puzzling piece of evidence was the ransom note. It was 3 pages long, a highly unusual length for a kidnapper's demand. It was written inside the Ramsey home, using their own notepad and pen. Even stranger? The amount requested, $118,000, was suspiciously close to the amount of John Ramsey's recent work bonus. This detail led investigators to a chilling question. Was the killer someone inside the house? Over the years, countless theories have emerged. Some point to an intruder. Others suggest the Ramseys themselves were responsible. But which is true? Theory number 1, the family did it. From the beginning, John and Patsy Ramsey were under suspicion. Police questioned how an intruder could have entered the home, written a long ransom note inside the house, and killed JonBenét without anyone hearing. Investigators found the behavior of the Ramseys strange. Patsy's 911 call was unusual. She never addressed her daughter by name, and at the end of the call, she seemed to forget the line was still open. A muffled conversation could be heard. "We're not talking to you." Who was she speaking to? John Ramsey's reaction to finding JonBenét's body? He picked her up and moved her, potentially tampering with evidence. The ransom note appeared to be written by someone familiar with the family's finances. Did Patsy Ramsey kill JonBenét? One of the most controversial theories suggests that Patsy Ramsey was responsible for JonBenét's death, possibly in a fit of rage. Some investigators believe JonBenét may have wet the bed that night. Patsy, frustrated and exhausted, may have struck her daughter, accidentally causing a fatal head injury. Instead of calling 911, she and John staged the crime scene, writing the ransom note and using the garrote to make it look like a kidnapping. However, no concrete evidence ever linked Patsy to the crime. She denied involvement until her death in 2006. Did Burke Ramsey kill his sister? JonBenét's older brother, Burke, who was 9 years old at the time, was also considered a suspect. Some theorists believe Burke may have struck JonBenét in the head with a flashlight during a fight over a snack, accidentally killing her. Fearing the consequences, John and Patsy covered it up, staging the ransom note and crime scene. On the 911 call, some claim you can hear Burke in the background, despite Patsy telling police he was asleep the whole time. Burke Ramsey has always denied involvement, and DNA evidence found at the crime scene did not match him. Theory number 2, the intruder theory. Despite early suspicions of the Ramseys, some believe an unknown intruder was responsible for JonBenét's murder. Evidence supporting this theory. A broken basement window suggested forced entry, though John Ramsey later admitted he had broken it months earlier. Unknown male DNA was found on JonBenét's underwear and leggings. This DNA did not match John, Patsy, or Burke. A neighbor reported hearing a scream around 2 a.m., but the Ramseys claimed they heard nothing. Possible intruder suspects. 1. Gary Oliva, a known sex offender in Boulder who later allegedly confessed to killing JonBenét in letters, but his DNA did not match the evidence. 2. 3. Michael Helgoth, a local electrician who died by suicide shortly after the murder. Some believe he was involved, but no proof ever surfaced. 4. 5. A mysterious drifter. Some believe JonBenét was targeted by a transient or a criminal who saw her at one of her beauty pageants. 6. JonBenét Ramsey's case remains one of the most baffling unsolved murders in history. Key reasons why. Botched investigation. The crime scene was contaminated, critical evidence was lost, and early suspicions of the Ramseys may have blinded police to other possibilities. Conflicting theories. Each theory has gaps and contradictions. Was it an inside job? An outside predator? The evidence doesn't point clearly to one answer. DNA evidence. The unknown male DNA found on JonBenét's clothing remains a mystery. Without a match, the case stays cold. In recent years, new efforts have been made to use advanced DNA technology to find a match. In 2022, Boulder police announced they were still working on the case, but no major breakthroughs have been made. JonBenét's father, John Ramsey, continues to push for answers. But as of today, her killer remains unknown. The murder of JonBenét Ramsey shocked the world, but after nearly 30 years, justice has never come. Her case serves as a haunting reminder that even the most high-profile crimes can go unsolved. Some believe the answer is buried in the evidence already collected, that someone knows exactly what happened that night. Until then, the question lingers: who killed JonBenét Ramsey? And will we ever know the truth?